Good day. Though it received minimal attention, the council meeting of the International Civil Aviation Organization, the ICAO, which was hurriedly convened at the request of the Western powers to discuss the incident of the Ryanair airplane, which landed in Minsk, leading to the arrest by the Belarusian authorities of the Belarusian activist Roman Protasevich, did not go quite as the West expected. One gets the impression that there was a general expectation that the Council would result in strong denunciations of Belarus and would lead to action, possibly to suspend Belarus from the ICAO on the grounds that the country had kidnapped an aircraft. In fact, nothing of the sort took place. The ICAO governing body instead referred the matter to its secretariat for further investigation. Though there is little exact information about what happened at the meeting of the ICAO Council, I understand that Belarus received support there from China and Russia, as might be expected, but from certain other countries also, countries outside the Chinese-Russian orbit, but members of the global south, such as South Africa. Anyway, here is a brief report of the meeting provided by the ICAO itself on its website. At a special meeting convened, the ICAO governing body underlined the importance of establishing the facts of what happened following the apparent forced diversion of Ryanair flight FR 4978, a commercial passenger aircraft flying in Belarus airspace on Sunday, 23rd May 2021. Recalling Article 55E of the Chicago Convention, the Council decided to undertake a fact-finding investigation of this event, and in this contention requested the ICAO Secretariat to prepare an interim report to the Council for a subsequent meeting of the current session, presenting the available facts and relevant legal instruments. The ICAO governing body, in making this decision, reached a sought understanding of whether there had been any breach by any ICAO member state of international aviation law, including the Convention on International Civil Aviation, the Chicago Convention and its annexes. The Council also called upon all ICAO member states and all other relevant stakeholders to collaborate with this fact-finding investigation in the interests of ensuring the safety and security of civil aviation and offer the assistance and expertise of ICAO in the pursuit of this endeavour. The Council has therefore decided that all relevant facts should be officially established through an ICAO investigation conducted by the ICAO Secretariat, emphasised ICAO Council President Salvatore Schiacchitano. ICAO Secretary-General Dr. Fang Liu responded to the Council's decision during the meeting and assured the full support and cooperation of the Secretariat in implementing this decision. I understand that Western governments were somewhat nonplussed by their failure to ram through a condemnation of Belarus at this Council meeting, but no doubt there will be extraordinary amount of manoeuvring in advance of that ICAO investigation, which is now due to take place. I would add that Belarus itself has repeatedly said that it stands ready to cooperate with any proper and full investigation of the incident, and appears to have undertaken, or at least have initiated, some kind of criminal probe of its own. One can, of course, be completely cynical about Belarus's intentions and motives in offering cooperation and in launching such a probe if one wishes, but the fact remains that up to now, the Belarusians have indicated that they're willing to go along with an investigation if one takes place, and indeed they have been, almost from the moment the incident happened, urgently requesting that such an investigation happen. Well, we shall await and see the outcome. But it has been very interesting to track the actions and statements of Belarus's two major allies, Russia and Ukraine and China, over the course of the last few days. President Lukashenko of Belarus, as it happens, is in Russia at the moment. He went there to meet President Vladimir Putin of Russia at Putin's presidential residence on the Black Sea in the Russian city of Sochi. And Putin spoke rather contemptuously of the Western reaction in response to the incident on Sunday. He spoke of another outburst of emotions by the Western powers and pointedly compared the situation with the aircraft, the Ryanair aircraft, with the West's forcible actions to compel the aircraft carrying President Evo Morales of Bolivia to land in Austria, where it was searched to see if the American dissident whistleblower Edward Snowden was hiding on board, which, as it happens, he wasn't. The Russians have made it fairly clear that they don't think much of the Western response to this incident. And in fact, the meeting between Putin and Lukashenko, which was planned well in advance, focused mainly on economic cooperation. In fact, the Russians, who had a tricky relationship with Lukashenko, will no doubt be, in some ways, satisfied that this latest episode has played, in a sense, into their hands, in that it is making Lukashenko even more dependent on Russia's support and friendship, and on the economic support Russia is giving Belarus, which all the indications are is now going to increase still further. So it seems that Lukashenko is getting all the backing from Russia that he needs. And interestingly enough, he's getting similar backing from China too. The Chinese didn't just weigh in at the ICAO Council meeting in support of Belarus. They've now been publishing statements making it very clear that they strongly disapprove of the West's overreaction, as they see it, to this incident. There is, for example, an article in Global Times about the incident which starts, "Ill-advised moves to show political power could eventually hurt EU." And it goes on to discuss the EU's policy of sanctions against Belarus, and it points out that this is the fourth round of sanctions that the EU is proposing to take, supposedly in response to this incident, and that the EU is now seems more focused on expanding democracy and its values to neighboring states rather than forging ahead with economic and trade cooperation, which is supposedly its intended mission. Global Times, in addition, quotes Cui Hongqian, director of the Department of European Studies at the China Institute of International Studies, saying that spreading democracy to other countries has been the aim of the EU when the bloc develops trade and economic cooperation with countries that are not core countries in the West, like Belarus and Russia. It emphasizes the political standards and undertakes a push to turn them democratic. The words democratic being in inverted commas. And then Global Times goes on to quote Tway as saying, but this approach, in effect, may have set the EU's purpose. Emphasizing democracy and human rights when developing relations with other countries inherently shows an intention to interfere in their internal affairs. In countries bordering the EU, especially in countries like Belarus, such a measure to promote democracy will be boycotted to a small or large extent. And then Global Times goes on to say, when the truth of the landing and the arrest was still unclear, the EU lashed out. Apparently, the bloc wished to do something as soon as possible to demonstrate its political power. But such moves can hardly be regarded as being responsible. Even though the EU might achieve some political gains in the end, in terms of economy, trade, security, or even politics, the bloc increasingly values, what it will eventually get will be discounted. This is clearly contrary to the EU's own interests. The point that is being made is that by prioritising democracy promotion, the EU is converting itself into a suspect partner in trade, economy, and security terms on the part of other countries who thereby come to suspect the EU of seeking to interfere in their internal affairs. And the further point, an additional point, is that as that happens, those countries will desist from seeking cooperation with the EU on economy, trade, security, or such matters, because they will not want to have the EU meddling in their internal affairs, as the EU repeatedly seeks to do. And then this article in Global Times was followed up by a full-scale editorial, which points out that at the moment, the true facts about this incident are not fully known, and that the West has again rushed to conclusions before any investigation has happened. It makes the following point. We still need to hear the explanation from Belarus. Ryanair also needs to provide further evidence on whether the request to land in Belarus was made voluntarily by the aircrew or was misled or coerced by some malicious forces. We believe that the international community should give Belarus the right to defend itself. Western public opinion has a very strong ability to set the agenda and often classifies an incident at the beginning of its occurrence without an authoritative investigation. But EU and US official institutions should avoid such patterns. They need more evidence to classify this incident and let the facts speak for themselves. Well, that is the position, the Chinese position, which the ICAO appears to be adopting. We're going to have an investigation, and whilst I know absolutely nothing about Dr. Fang Liu, who is the Secretary General of the ICAO, his name suggests that he is Chinese, and if he is a citizen of the People's Republic, then as Secretary General of the ICAO, one can perhaps expect that the investigation he will conduct into the incident will indeed be objective and impartial, something which other investigations organised by the Western powers in connection with all sorts of incidents that have taken place around the world have up to now not always been. Thank you very much for joining me for this short video on this topic. I look forward to you joining me in future videos on this channel and on our main channel, the Duran. Please also remember to check out Alex's channel, Alex Christophorou's channel. That's my colleague and friend with whom I make programs on the Duran, about which you can find links on this under this video. Please also check us out on our new platforms, especially Super U and Locals, but also Odyssey also, and also to the extent that you can and feel able, support us via PayPal, Patreon and Subscribestar. Also, don't forget to go to our Discord server and to check out our shop and buy yourself, if you wish, the wonderful things that you will find there: our magic mugs, our t-shirts, our sweatshirts, our hats, our hoodies, and all the rest. Not only will you be a delighted and proud owner of these wonderful things, but you will be supporting the Duran also. Last but not least, please don't forget to check your subscription to this channel and press the like button if you like this video. Thank you very much for joining me today, and I look forward to you joining me in my next program, and have a wonderful day until then.